So recently, I believe today or yesterday, Antarius Harden just shared a chip left-right mix-up deck after a wall slump. Now, wall slump is one of these less understood mechanics because the game doesn't outright tell you how it works and how to achieve it. So inevitably, anytime one of these higher level players, these Jaron Mickles, these Antarius Harden, they showcase a left-right mix-up after a wall slump, you have um, these players that come out of the gate and just say something like, "Well, why didn't they just stack?" Or, "Well, you can't do that because wall recovery isn't turned on in the lab. So of course your opponent could have just jumped up and jumped away from the wall." And I don't blame these players. The game doesn't tell you how this mechanic works. So I'm just going to showcase the difference between these two type of wall splat. So first of all, I'm just going to showcase the difference between a traditional wall splat and a wall slump and what is the criteria to achieve a wall slump. So if you look at the training settings here, we're just going to go over the opponent, and you have the recovery, which says front. So what this means is when the opponent is going to be wall splat, I'm just going to let him sit there for a while. He's going to recover, going straight forward, shooting out like a bat out of hell. So let's just do a random wall splat setup. That was great. Alright, now he's going to shoot out. Boom. Like this here. Normally, an opponent is going to be able to recover from a wall splat if they're in a juggle state. The wall slump is a bit different, and I'm just going to show you how. So as opposed to the traditional wall splat that takes effect when the opponent is juggling, if you trigger the wall splat animation while the opponent is grounded, look at that. He's going to slide down and go into a knockdown situation. So in this scenario, you can keep applying pressure while the opponent is in knockdown state. He didn't shoot out front because the game doesn't let you recover in the traditional methods when you're grounded and you achieve a wall splat. You're not going to see this technique in the lower to middle level play. It's very uncommon, and even at the higher level, it's pretty uncommon. It's one of these more advanced character-specific mechanics because characters like Chip and Millia are going to benefit greatly from this setup. But characters like Kai, you're not going to gain much from it. Now let's just look at what kind of advantages Kai would benefit from going into a wall slump scenario. So before they recover, you throw a fireball and they need to block it. This means you can keep applying pressure in a corner situation without breaking the wall and without letting them recover by shooting out of the wall or upwards or whatever. It's not something you're going to see often, but it's great against characters like Axel, Testament, and the famous Happy Chaos because you're going to keep them with their back against the wall and you can reset pressure. When you see someone land a wall slump on the ground with Chip and they do a setup like this thing here, it's a true setup. Your opponent has to wake up from the knockdown. They can't just recover by shooting up or shooting down or shooting whatever. They need to slump down the wall and they're subjected to the mix. This is about all you needed to learn about the wall slump mechanic and its difference between a regular traditional juggling wall splat. Listening to the recordings here, I sounded a bit antagonistic and I didn't want to be off-putting, but I think it's important for new players to keep an open mind and not openly disregard a technique that an advanced player showcases just because you think something doesn't work. It's easier to just ask the player why it works, and maybe you'll learn something. Maybe there's something you're unaware because the game doesn't provide all the information, and we're a community, so it's important to help each other out and keep an open mind.